Good job today, man. It's one at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Good evening, everybody. Victory Monday edition, the first of this year, Bubs. This was looking forward to this one, but it's nice, man. It's like you wake up today, you can exhale, you can smile. The Jets can't lose for 2 weeks now. It's like life is good right now.
Yeah, happy Victory Monday. It feels great. Finally pick up a win. It's been 7 weeks of just frustration, 7 weeks of bad football. So finally nice to get a win. Finally nice to talk about some positives and a win. And you're spot on. We get to enjoy this one for 2 weeks instead of going into the bye week talking about an 0-8 team and all the concerns. We get to talk about some positivity, and we get to enjoy this up until week 10 against the Browns, which you look forward to that game and just enjoy the victory for the next 13 days. So happy Victory Monday.
100%, man. Before we go into the game, the aftermath, everything else, the trade deadline, we got to just discuss this real quick. I talked about it yesterday. Thoughts and prayers with Nick Mangold and his family. And it really speaks volumes of the person he was, where you see the outpouring of emotion all throughout social media from former coaches, teammates, friends, family, fans. Like, Nick Mangold embraced being a Jet. He's a tremendous ambassador for your organization. Great man, great father, very charitable. I shared a message yesterday. Like, I interacted with him several times, and it was just moments I'll never forget, to be honest with you. So when the news came out, I was heartbroken, dude. And like you just can't stop thinking about it, because you think about his family. He's got 4 children, all this stuff. So very, very difficult situation. Hard to talk about, but it's just gone far too soon, and it's difficult, man. Like I said, like you see, just like Willie Colon talking about it, Rex Ryan, all of Sanchez, you see just all the emotions being shared. It just kind of reiterates the kind of man and person he was.
Yeah, definitely. Condolences to his family. And like you said, listening to Rex on ESPN and then seeing, Willie Colon, even Damian Woody this morning, Bart Scott, all these former players, former coaches speak on him. He was my favorite Jet. I kind of started, my earliest days were kind of the 2013, 2014, 2015 range. He was the first one I had a jersey of. And it's not just, like you said, what he did on the field. It was who he was off the field. Kind, that humorous personality, was a great ambassador, very involved still in the Jets community, whether it was going to tailgates. I know you mentioned that yesterday on your post-game show about just the connection that he had with the fan base, whether it was at training camp, whether it was, tailgates before the games. You cracked the cold one at his Ring of Honor speech with the fans in 2022 when he got inducted. So awesome player, even better human. And it was, heartbreaking news. And the Jets community, the NFL community lost a good one yesterday. And it's so unfortunate that it happened just way too young, only 41 years old. And, his wife and kids, condolences to them. It was tough. And even watching that game yesterday, it kind of felt, it was a little weird, because the news it really struck you, especially because just 2 weeks ago it felt like things were okay. He sent out that, he needed a kidney and things like that. And you're like, you kind of had some positivity about, maybe he could find one and we can, find a solution there. But it was just so sudden. Like, when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. So, but a win for him, definitely.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's just like it choked me up. Like, it's hard to talk about.
Yeah, the Rex Ryan was tough to watch.
Yeah,
that was
tough. Like Willie Colon, just all the players. Like, it's just everybody, former players, Patriot players. It's remarkable. Yeah. And everybody's been asking us for the last couple of years for us to make merch, and I haven't really made any merch because I didn't want to sell any, because I'm like, the Jets suck. Who wants to spend money on it? So I think I posted somewhere today, but we're gonna have I'm getting T-shirts made, white T-shirts. Just Let's Talk Jets T-shirts, Let's Talk Jets hoodies, and the proceeds from the sales will go to the American Kidney Fund, which helps kidney patients. So that's what we're gonna do, unless Nick Mangold's family announces a fund of their own or a charity. I looked all day for it. I couldn't find one. I reached out to his agent. So if that does happen, I'll change it over. But so Let's Talk Jets T-shirts. Let's Talk Jets hoodies. Proceeds of these sales will go to either the American Kidney Fund or Nick Mangold's family's charity of choice. So there's that. I guess, and then we can slowly try to transition to things that it's a hard transition. And Armin, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I just posted it this morning. I'll share the link in the description. We always appreciate the support. We haven't sold merch in a couple of years, man. Cause I'm just like, why? It's no reason to. So, and there's a lot of good charities, but the Kidney Fund is one that's I did a lot of research on it. So now you have yesterday's Jets game. You look Jets Bengals. You look at no Josh Reynolds, no Garrett Wilson, no Sauce Gardner. The Bengals with this high flying offense. If anybody, I'm being transparent. I'm like, Jets getting blown out. They're by 30, and then they're down 10-0. And I'm like, here we go again. I'm ready. Like, how you have your phone next to you? Like, I wish I fired out angry tweets. Like, I hate this team. I'm tired of this. Justin Fields is killing me. Tyrod Taylor's hurt. All these things. And then they turn it around, and I'm like, no way. Like, they're competitive. This is exciting. And the offense is scoring points. The defense can't get off the field. And it was such a crazy roller coaster ride of emotions going through it. And then when the Jets go ahead, I'm like, they're not going to hold the lead. I'm like, this is going to be the heartbreaking of all heartbreaking losses here, where they're going to fall apart and just going to be like the worst Jets day ever. And the defense come up big, dude. And I was like, I genuinely could not believe they won that game yesterday.
Yeah, it was definitely a miracle type of win, actually a historic comeback type of win. And with coming back from 15 points in the fourth quarter hasn't been done since the Monday Night Miracle in 2000, where they came back from 23 points. So second largest deficit in franchise history. But yeah, I think you're spot on with that assessment there, right? There was so many moments in this game where it could have got away from the Jets, and you instantly thought of same old Jets. This is going to turn into a blowout, and we're going to talk about another loss, and it's going to be 0-8 going into the bye week, and all the questions and all the concerns we've had with this team are going to be talked about now for 2 full weeks until the next game, because it was 10-0. You had Fields check out of the quarterback sneak to then run the pitch play, which got blown up. We've seen that a couple times this year. Then they were down 17-3. Then it was 24-10. Then it was 31-16 and then 38-24. And even when they took the lead, it was, this defense hasn't gone a stop all day. This is a defense that in the few moments this year, they had a chance to get a stop to steal the game, whether it was Pittsburgh or Tampa, they couldn't do it. And it's like, why is now going to be any different? Chase Brown had that 12-yard run. It was a fresh set of downs. You're like, here we go again. And then they found a way to shut him down and pulled out a victory. And yeah, it was a shocker. It was a surprise, not just with the way the game went, but going into it. The Bengals had all the momentum. You had Fields just a couple days ago. The owner bashed him. Last Sunday, he had.
Well, we'll start with that, dude. You go into this game where I didn't want Justin Fields to play. I wanted Tyrod Taylor to play, but Tyrod mysteriously gets hurt. Like, wonderful. Then you have that. Then you have the Woody Johnson fiasco where he talks poorly about him, which was embarrassing as hell.
Yeah.
So the world is basically falling on Justin Fields' shoulder. We're like, great. And then he comes out and he handles all of it, dude. Now, I will say this. I think the play calling helped him. I think when he gets active in running the ball and doing things, it seems like he gets more confidence. He throws the ball better. Then they're throwing the ball downfield. They were spreading it around. Like it seemed like they were back like the Pittsburgh game. They did a lot of things to help him. That once he got going, he was making those throws. He missed some, but it was like a lot of good things. Like he did a lot of really good things, especially considering all the things he had to deal with, dude. Especially considering no Josh Reynolds, no Garrett Wilson. Like I thought what he did yesterday was pretty impressive. And I don't care about the Bengals defense blows. It doesn't matter. So do the Jets receivers, right? So it's like it wasn't like the Jets were fully stocked. And the Bengals like no, what he did yesterday was impressive, all things considered, man. It's complete credit to him.
Yeah, we don't know what the future is for Fields beyond this season. Who even knows what the rest of the season plays out like for him? But yeah, I totally agree. Yesterday, ton of respect, ton of credit goes to him. And that was an awesome performance and something that you have to respect, you have to give credit to, right? Think about like kind of what you said, what he went through during the week, whether it was getting benched on Sunday and then Tuesday having your owner go out there and talk about your rating, talk about, if we could just complete a pass, we'd be in a better spot. All those things, publicly bashing you on top of all of the criticism that he was already getting, on top of getting benched, all of those things. You don't know if you're starting or not during the week. Tyrod then gets hurt. You then have to start. Go on the road, AFC North opponent. I'm with you. Bad defense, good defense, whatever. Going on the road with the way he's been playing was a difficult task to begin with against a Bengals team that just beat the Steelers, on Thursday night prior with all the momentum, and to win a shootout like that, ton of credit to him. And he looked like the Pittsburgh game. He was playing free. I kind of wonder if the Woody comments a little bit of a fire under him, where it was basically, all right, my owner's bashing me. And
a question is, I wonder if Aaron Glenn yelling at Tanner Engstrand on the sideline, be like, listen, open up this goddamn offense. What we're seeing right now is way too conservative. Like, something happened, it seemed like to me, where like something changed. And I think it's like the one thing we always talk about this. Like, I'd rather see Justin Fields go down in flames, throwing the ball, airing it out, taking chances, be aggressive, than ultra conservative, worried about turnovers. I want to see this offense to full capacity, not just this run, third and long pass, punt. Like, let's see what he can actually do. Like, this is an audition. Let it fly. And yesterday, it seemed like after that slow start, he did. Ball's going downfield. The Tyler Johnson pass was incredible. But I'm wondering if Aaron Glenn giving Engstrand a little kick in the ass, like, listen, man, this is just not acceptable. We're not getting blown out today.
Yeah, there was definitely more of an aggressiveness for sure. And you want to see that out of Glenn, too, as a CEO-type coach that is overseeing everything to make those in-game adjustments, talk to his coordinators. But, yeah, I mean, you look at some of the biggest plays of the day. You had the Tyler – they were stretching the field to Tyler Johnson. Arian Smith had the big 23-yard catch down the sideline. And I think what was so big, too, with Fields was some of the big third down throws he made. He had the one to Jeremy Rucker, which was big late in the game on third down. And then, you mentioned the Tyler Johnson touchdown. That was huge because that was one of those plays where he was under pressure, guy coming at him, and instead of kind of panicking like he usually does or taking the sack, he stepped up, he stayed in the pocket, and he just threw it up and right into the breadbasket in the corner of the end zone. You couldn't have asked for a better ball. And he spread the ball around, too. I think that is also very notable. You mentioned no Garrett Wilson. You mentioned no Josh Reynolds. He still got 9 guys involved.
Isaiah Williams, a guy we wanted 3 weeks ago.
Out of the slot actually played well. Brees, Isaiah Davis had a really strong day today. Both him and Brees. Davis with 109 total yards from scrimmage. Tyler Johnson, Mason Taylor, both of the tight ends. Ruckert as well with the big catch. Arian Smith, had the 23-yard grab. So spreading the ball around. And played, the best he played since Pittsburgh.
Well, I think there's that. So he spread the ball around. I think he played with confidence. Also, the offensive line, I think, did a tremendous job. And it's like every week you're looking for things you could build on. And for weeks, we've been ripping the shit out of his team, and rightfully so, because they've been terrible. But Olu yesterday and Membu were mauling people. Henderson wasn't his full strength. I mean, I know Simpson put him out with that hit, but like Henderson wasn't back to health. But listen, I don't care if it's the Bengals defense, the Ravens, whoever it is, you play who's in front of you. And they were mauling people. And this is a building block for the young offensive line. Like, all right, listen, they're getting a lot of experience. You gave Fields a clean pocket. He can make plays down the field. And now you can actually see what this offense is. Because we're still trying to evaluate what Engstrand is. And then you see Engstrand open things up. You had the sweep to Isaiah Williams. You had the halfback pass from Breece Hall. You had the going for it on fourth down. The one Fields 2-point conversion where he ran for it was ridiculous. Like, you saw a lot of things we haven't seen in a while. Like, okay, now we're getting a little bit of a vision that now you try to build on it for the weeks to come. But the offensive line yesterday, dude, they were kicking some ass. I think they had first of all, they had 502 yards of offense. Insane for any Jet team. But they ran the ball for 250 something yards. I mean, it was absurd.
Yeah, the 500 plus yards of offense was the first time they did that in a game since the Mike White game, which also happened to be against the Bengals. 254 total yards of rushing. Or total rushing yards, and 6.9 yards per carry. They were almost averaging 7 yards per carry. And you had the couple big runs, the Brees 35-yard run. You had the Isaiah Williams run as well. And then Isaiah Davis broke out that huge 50-yard run. But it was chunk plays. It was 4 to 5 yards consistently. The offensive line was phenomenal yesterday. They only allowed, not just through the ground as well, opening up holes, but pass protection. They only allowed 3 pressures all day. No quarterback hits, no sacks given up. Membu, Olu, and Tippmann did not allow a hit, or a hurry, all of them. And I think, you talk about moving forward and the future and things that can carry into not just the rest of the season, but beyond this season. having an offensive line and having your two bookend tackles and Olu and Membu getting better as the year goes on, showing progress is huge, especially Membu as a rookie playing at such a high level. That's a really positive sign. And I also think, too, it shows, Fields was getting the ball out pretty quick yesterday. He was actually getting it out, finding guys open and
Just
doing what a quarterback's supposed to do.
Yep.
I think that also helped the O-line a lot as well, where they kind of just can be in sync. You have a quarterback that's making the throws, you have an O-line that's protecting, and you're able to put up points, run the ball, and really open up the offense that way.
Yeah, and then you had the offensive line doing work. Then the running backs did a lot of work, and it was like, all right, this is, with Breece Hall coming in the game, you're like, well, common sense says no Garrett Wilson, give Breece the ball, give Mason Taylor the ball, let them flourish or die that way. That's all you can really do. Breece had over 100 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown. It was like old school Breece. I'm like, and they probably could have given the ball more, but they worked in Isaiah Davis, who Isaiah Davis had a great game as well, which was good to see, like your 1-2 punch, which was, all right, this is the ground and pound we had the vision for. Now, Breece, it could have been a showcase game. Yesterday could have been Breece's last game as a Jet, for all we know. We don't know, but it was good to see him back to that style of play where, if we're being honest, he's been a little bit inconsistent. He's had great games. He's had games where he's dropping passes. He looks slow. He looks sluggish. He looks disinterested, not really fighting for yards, not really fighting blocks. Then you have yesterday, a week before the trade deadline, he puts on a showcase game.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the Breece Hall story with the Jets is just the inconsistencies. There's been some moments where he looks really good, looks like he did yesterday, and then there's moments where he's not in the game plan. They're not passing him the ball. And then there's moments where he just doesn't have great games and there's nothing going. And a lot of that has to do with the bad quarterback play and team stack in the box. I think that's really a big reason why the rushing offense has been dormant the last 2 weeks is because there's been no passing threat with Fields struggling against Denver and Carolina. Teams are just going to expect the run, where a game where you had the passing threat that opened things up for Breece. I mean, he was throwing touchdowns as well. He was doing everything yesterday.
Wild, dude. When you see him getting ready to throw the ball, I'm like, no way. I automatically thought back to like the Curtis Martin Corbett days. Like, no way. And I'm like, good.
Yeah, no, he kind of like double pumped too, because like he went to throw and then ran a little bit closer to the sideline. I was worried he was just about to like go out of bounds, like he wasn't aware, and then he just threw it up. And what a catch by Mason Taylor to moss him. But yeah, that was. Give credit to Engstrand. They pulled out all the stops, him and Glenn. Like they went into the game clearly with an aggressive mindset. Glenn, we're going for 2. When they went for 2, you had the crazy play by Fields to roll out, buy time, and then find Isaiah Davis. And then you had the run by Fields. And then late in the game there, it's Fields is playing great. No, we're going to give it to Breece. We're going to run a trickery, and we're going to throw it up to Mason Taylor, the rookie, and he makes a play. So also credit to them, just clearly having an aggressive mindset in the game, which is the right thing. You're 0-7. You got nothing to lose. But
100%.
Just back to Breece specifically, yeah, he was great. I mean, 133 yards, 18 carries, two touchdowns, the passing touchdown as well. When he's on, he's so good. It's just, the consistency. That's been the biggest thing. And when he's executing both through the receiving game and as a runner, he's really, really dangerous. It's just with the inconsistencies at quarterback and some of the play calling that he's gone through, that's where you've kind of seen some of the ups and downs in his career. But very quietly here, he's put together a strong season. Despite everything, he's had 3 100-plus rushing yard games this year, which is already triple what he had last year. The only game he had last year over 100 yards was the Buffalo game after they fired Saleh. That was it. This year, he's already got 100 in 3 games, which was Pittsburgh, Dallas, and then yesterday. I mean, he's 6th in the NFL in rush yards. So quietly, despite everything that's gone on around him, and even at sometimes a lack of using him enough, he's still having a pretty solid season. If it was his final game, that's the way to go out. That's for sure.
100%. So you go from offensive line was encouraging, Fields, running backs. To me, what made me the happiest on offense was Mason Taylor, who in this lost year, you want to find building blocks. You want to find developmental pieces and your young nucleus. And he is emerging to the player we want him to be. Like you talked about how he mossed him in the end zone. That's great. Tough catches over the middle, playing physical, playing with energy, becoming like a safety valve. That's even like Rucker catching a pass. I'm like, oh, look at this guy making a play. Like that's nice to see. But the young guys contributing, having an impact on the offense. But looking at Mason Taylor, man, like that's like, all right, Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, you're seeing the blueprint for an offense now.
Yeah, Mason Taylor's been been a really nice positive, even in some of these losses. I mean, you even go back to when they really started to get him more involved in the offense, going back to the Miami game and in the Dallas game, he had 65 yards and 67 yards in back-to-back games. He had another 3 catches for 31 last week, and then yesterday, the 5 catches, 34 yards, and yeah, the biggest touchdown. For a rookie to do that, for a rookie to the most important part is he's getting better, right? He's not he's
The
as
big
the
first down
season,
catch too, man.
yeah,
Was a hard catch to make.
yeah, definitely. He's improving. He's making the tough catches. He's stepping up in the big spots, which is what you need out of a tight end. You want a safety blanket, reliable tight end. He needs to be there on third down. He needs to be there late in the game on that Breece Hall throw in the end zone where he needs to make that play, and he did, and that's what you want to see. He's been a really nice positive. And to be honest, I think when you look at kind of where he's going, like statistically, I think he'll end the year probably pretty close to what we projected.
I think so too.
Which will be kind of that low 500-yard mark. Maybe he catches another touchdown or 2. That's something that you can really take into year 2. And then next year, it's like, okay, now you get to the 650, 700 mark. Now you get to 4 to 5 to 6 touchdowns, and you really take off with better quarterback play and things like that. And just overall rookie getting better. I mean, he's only 21 years old. We also have to take that into account. He's still so young. Him and Membu still so young. And Rucker too. It's funny because Rucker doesn't do a whole lot, but the couple catches he's had this year have been like big catches on third down. Because you go back to the Pittsburgh game.
It's true.
Yeah, he had the 2 third down catches. One of them was really tough. It was that tight window throw from Fields for a first down. And then yesterday he had the big catch on third down. He hasn't gotten involved much, rightfully so. He's the number 2 tight end, but when he has, it's actually been some big catches. So you give him credit for that.
So you look at tight ends, we'll do wide receivers, then we'll go to calls. Wide receivers were interesting because, like I said, they were really down to nothing there. And Isaiah Williams popped off. Like Isaiah Williams, guy I wanted cut. I was already done with him. He had a big impact on returns. He averaged like 13 yards a return or something like that. It was huge. But he was making plays. And then it's like Tyler Johnson, big play. It's like, all right, I'm hoping to see more Brandon Smith. I want to see Skinner get a chance. Pritchett. You're still dragging Alan Lazard out there, who actually – I think drew like 2 or 3 penalties yesterday, which is surprising for Alan Lazard, which I'm like, why are you so worried about football players? But
usually it's him drawing the penalties or him getting the penalties.
Yeah, it's like one criticism, like you're seeing, okay, they're making plays. I want to get young guys out there. You want to get young guys they can find for next year in the future, but maybe Tyler Johnson emerges something that we can keep long term. Who knows? Like he's not an expensive guy by no means, but if anything, the wide receivers are just the area that you want to see a little bit more out of and get more growth out of.
Yeah, I agree. And like Arian Smith, as the season goes on, you like to see more of. Like I would like to see Arian Smith have, one of these. I don't know. And yesterday he only had 1 catch, but I would like to see him have one of these like 5 catches for like 70-yard type of games where he really gets involved, maybe reaches the end zone and takes off. I'll tell you what about Tyler Johnson. He's had a solid season, and I wouldn't be opposed. He's 27 years old. I wouldn't be opposed to, and this is kind of the situation that the Jets have found themselves in with receivers. Like Tyler Johnson should not be your number 1 receiver, but with the lack of weapons that they brought in the offseason, they kind of put him in a role that wasn't fit for him. But if you tell me that next season they get a legitimate wide receiver 2 and a legitimate wide receiver 3, and like Tyler Johnson's your wide receiver 4, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Or Aaron Smith, your 4, and Tyler Johnson's like your 5. That's not bad at all. But I mean, he stepped up yesterday as a wide receiver 1 with the touchdown and the 64 yards. He's done some good things for a cheap contract. He has been solid.
This is the one thing here. It's like I like to see Aaron Smith on the jet sweeps, doing a screen pass to Aaron Smith. Like we know he has that vertical game, which they really haven't used enough, to be honest with you. But like, get the ball in his hands and give the kid some confidence, man. But he had a big catch yesterday too. Yeah,
more Aaron Smith, more Brandon Smith, less Lazard.
Yep.
Definitely. And even, I mean, Reynolds is now on IR, so that opens up the door for more from those guys.
I mean, Stone Smart, what great signings those were.
Yeah, I know. He's not a non-factor. Jelani Woods, another one, non-factor.
Just give him a chance. But now it's like, see, the thing is, like, we were complaining up until yesterday, but yesterday, 502 yards, I'm not saying a word, man. I'm going to enjoy it, have some fun with it. I'm happy for him. And the thing is, like, especially winning a game for these, like, all these guys we just talked about, we'll do the defense later on, but it's like, they were fighting their asses off, dude, to get the actual reward, to enjoy your victory Monday, to celebrate with your coach, to get the media off your back, the fans off your back. You can now exhale. It's got to be a huge relief for them, man.
Yeah, it's a huge weight off their shoulders. And even just from Glenn, too, from his standpoint, like he needed a win. He needs a win. He needs to win games. He needs to show that this team could be competitive consistently. And that's the reality. They got to go out there against Cleveland and play well. If they go out there and lay a dud against Cleveland, none of this matters.
Exactly.
But going into the bye week, you just didn't want the 0-8, 0-17 chatter still carry into the bye week. Is this regime going to be one and done? Then you go into the deadline and all those different things. Like this was needed, much needed to get this win now. You get the weight off your back, you get a week off, and you get a chance to refresh. And yeah, for all these guys, for these young guys, for the players that have, for the rookies, for the players that have been here, what builds cultures is winning. And that ultimately is what it's going to take. Going 0-17 is not going to build a culture. And I'm not saying they're going to win 10 straight games now and Glenn's the greatest coach ever. No, nobody's saying that. But you need to win games. You need to see progress. And as we consistently saw regression, it was getting laid out early. Because if this continued, you were like, okay, now we have to have the real conversation about this being a one and done. But now 9 games left. If you could play like this consistently, these next 9 games, or at least 7 of the 9, you start to feel much better about the direction of the team and the direction of some of these pieces on this team moving forward.
No, that's the whole thing. We talked about, like, this is, progress. 11 penalties in 3 games. The offense played better. But again, this can't be an anomaly. This is something you got to build on against the Browns. But for one day, like, okay, cool. Like, 502 yards, man. Sign me up. Defense, we can talk about later. Now, Random Man is saying, how you always complain when people say you're too negative? I'm too positive. This team is booty. Dude, today is a win, man. It's a victory Monday, a game we all thought they were going to lose. They overcame a lot of adversity. They bounced back. It's a game we all probably thought they were going to lose in the end anyway in the fourth quarter. They didn't. I'm enjoying it, man. And the thing is, too, it's like this is also the reward for the players, too, where Glenn's pushing them. Work harder. And you get, okay, listen, it paid off now. We're like a little light at the end of the tunnel. Like, okay, maybe this is going to work. Maybe we can buy into this staff a little bit more. So we'll see. We're not saying they're going to win the next 8 games. We're not saying anything like that. It's a good win. It's a positive moment in a bad season, and we see what happens. Andrew, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Tyson? What's going on, Bubs? How are you guys tonight?
How you doing?
How's it going? Victory Monday, first of the season. How's it feel, all right?
It's about time, man.
Long overdue.
Yeah, tell me about it. I have a few talking points. I don't want to, be on here too long, but I actually went to I'm from Orlando, so I went to the Tampa game earlier this year, and I actually traveled with my wife across the pond. We went to London to go see them play over there. Yeah, the trip was nice. The game, not so much. But, one thing I'll say is, I've definitely seen a lot of improvement, like Bubs, like you've said. I think someone put in the chat too, 11 penalties in the past 3 games, which is a big improvement, because the Tampa game, that was a slop fest. There were so many penalties that game. And then London, I don't even want to talk about it. The offense was atrocious that day. But it's one thing that I am curious to just something I wonder about, right, is the comments that Woody made. Not only did it light a fire under Justin Fields, obviously, but did that also kind of take Aaron Glenn and Engstrand off a little bit too, right? Because Justin Fields was their prize guy. That was their guy in the offseason they brought in. So, with Woody saying the comments that he did, was that, did they maybe change the game plan, or maybe like install a game plan this Sunday where, it really allowed Justin Fields to flourish in things that he does well, and kind of like tell Woody to shove it that way,
dude. If you need Woody Johnson to open your eyes and say that Fields is playing like shit and you got to play, open up your playbook and stuff like that, I think what bailed everybody out was Tyrod Taylor being hurt. I think that's what bailed them all out.
Oh, no, for sure. And I agree with you. I like Aaron Glenn. I don't know if he's the answer long term, but obviously we want him to be, right. We don't want to go through another coaching cycle. But, I will say the defense is something that I'm still not sold on. But offensively, we've shown improvement. We have a lot of young pieces, especially on the offensive line. We have Garrett, obviously. I don't think Brees is going anywhere, to be honest. I don't think we're going to trade him. I just think, we're so barren at the offensive
so if you're not,
position.
you have another week. It's a week from tomorrow to trade him. If you keep him, you would have to sign him to an extension then, because I don't think you want to let the season play out. Let him test free agency. Go get your best offer, then come back. So you
I
want to get a
think.
deal done now?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if he's going to sign with us long term. I mean, we can always franchise tag him. I mean, the franchise tag for a running back is not much.
I think it's 11 million,
Um,
right, or something like that.
yeah, I mean, and for what you're paying, for Brees, I mean, some running back got I think like 10 million in the offseason. That was like a steal. But um, I think, excuse me, I think you trading Brees kind of sends a message to the team that like you're really not trying to compete this season, and
Yep,
I don't think Aaron Glenn can afford that. I think he needs
that's
to
a good
show
point.
the locker room that that he's trying to put his best foot forward week in and week out. Trying to change the culture in the locker room. So even if they don't end up re-signing Brees, I don't think you can look that locker room in the face and say, hey, this is what's best for our football team.
Excellent.
Not just in the long term, but in the short term as well. And I
Unless,
mean,
but I agree with you. I completely agree with you. That'll be a very difficult situation for Aaron Glenn to say, listen, we want to compete week in and week out, but we just trade away our best running back for a third round pick. Unless the caveat or the curveball of this, unless Brees wants out. If Brees literally tells the Jets, I don't want to come back. I don't want to be here next year. I want to be out. Like, he's been a class act to this point, but it kind of, some days it seems like he just wants to be out of here. He's tired of losing, tired of the circus, tired of the drama. Like, if they get a sense that he truly wants to be out of here, then it's like, I'd rather get the pick now than instead of waiting for a compensatory pick.
Yeah. And, I don't think he's necessarily, and I could be wrong, right? But I don't think he's necessarily tired of being with us. I just think he's tired of being underutilized because he knows what he brings to the table. And I think it's just
Oh,
with like
man.
any great offense or any great player in general, it's like, they just want to contribute, right? And I think he said that in the post game, yesterday as
Well,
well.
yesterday for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bubs,
He
what
was
do you
like,
think? Because I think he's tired of being here.
Yeah, he gives like weird hints every week. Like he had the free 20 post on Instagram. And yeah, yesterday was kind of what, give me the ball 15 to 20 times. He's been a weird player to gauge sometimes. I mean, even going back to the off season or training camp, he basically was like, this regime has no loyalty to me. I know it, I have to kind of go out there and prove it.
Yep.
I think he knows the situation of, if I don't play well enough, I'm not going to be here long term. This regime, even in the offseason, there was clearly some chatter that the Jets had about trading him.
But is he like, Andrew, is he a $12 million a year player? You want to give him like 4 years, $48 million?
I think he is. I think honestly, I think with his talent, he's a top 5 back. I mean, obviously his stats might not back it up, but that speaks more to our situation the past few years. But I think you put him in the right system. Like I'm watching the Kansas City game right now. If he was in Kansas City, he would be like another Priest Holmes.
That's the thing. It's like, is Brees is like this on a really bad team. Put him on a very good team or a team that's actually competent with a quarterback, and he could probably, maybe he flourishes then. Like, I don't, it's so, like, I just wish I knew what he was thinking, because it's tough for the Jets. Cap space is an issue. If they wanted to pay him, they could. They chose not to. So, okay, you got to prove it to us.
Yeah.
It's like, to Bubs' point, he's had some good games this year, especially behind this with no quarterback play.
Yeah, and that's why I think too the franchise tag is still an option for him, because I mean, who else would we franchise tag going into the offseason?
Nobody.
Who else?
I would think he'd probably hold out, though. I don't think he'd be happy about that.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough, and the whole Glenn thing too of trading him away and then looking the locker room in the eyes and saying we're still here to win it. We still care about winning this year. That's tough to do for a first time head coach. Tough to do for any coach. And it's like Braylon Allen's hurt too. It's not like you could say, oh, we have two great running backs in Braylon and Isaiah Davis. We're going to roll with them. No, it would be Isaiah Davis, who's played well, and Khalil Herbert. Like that would be your next running back. That's a tough sell-off.
And then also too, it's you looking at, just say if you can't get a deal done, you do the franchise tag. According to Armand, it's $14 million or transition 11. $14 million being allocated to Brees in a year where you're going to probably add hopefully 2 receivers. You may have to add 2 offensive linemen, a linebacker, probably a safety. You're going to have to add a lot of pieces. Is that money being allocated properly then? Is that really worth $14 million there, where running backs, according to some, are a dime a dozen? You could draft one. You can get these guys. Mm-hmm. Is a Brees that much of a differentiator that you want to go that extra mile for him?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's the $1 million question. I guess that's, it's up to the front office and how they really feel about him. And I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I like him a lot. I like the player. But to answer your question, I definitely would not trade him before the deadline because, like I said, and even too, I was talking with a buddy earlier, because I posted on Instagram, Victory Monday. And he's like, dude, no, we should have lost, number 1 pick, da. And I'm like, man, we just got to take them where we can, man. I think this is, and tell me what you guys think. I think this is probably like one of the, if not the hardest year to be a Jets fan. Not necessarily, yeah, not necessarily even just with the expectations going into the season. We knew we weren't going to be that good, but just with everything going on the field and off the field, the Mark Sanchez situation, now rest in peace, Nick Mangold, passing away over the weekend. But just, what other franchise or what other, sports franchise has to go through what we go through
There was
on
no
a week
glimmer
by
of
week
hope, dude.
basis?
Like you're going through a season where you're questioning the general manager, the coach, the quarterback, and you're 70 games in. You're like, this is a disaster. Like it's like we would talk about it week by week. Bubs, I'm like, dude, somehow it's getting worse. Like how could the New York Jets get worse? And we're actually getting worse. Then yesterday, it's like, all right, a light at the end of the tunnel. Please make this a sign of like a trend going forward now, where we can build on things, find more like answers instead of more questions.
It's got to be a culture shift. It's a culture shift.
Man.
If this isn't the NBA where it's just like, okay, yeah, you tank every game and you're guaranteed, or you get like the next Anthony Edwards or whoever it is, like it's a crapshoot in the NFL. So
100%.
no, in our luck, we get the number 1 pick and we bust out, and then the number 2 guy ends up being like the next, Jaden Daniels or whoever it is.
And that's frankly what has happened in the draft. That's why the whole, tank for the number 1 overall pick thing is sometimes a little bit blown out of proportion, because you look at the last couple of number 1 overall picks. I mean, you go back to the 2024 draft with Caleb, Daniels and Drake May are better. You go to the Bryce Young draft, Stroud's better. You even go back to, Trubisky was taken 1, Mahomes was better. You go back to the Donald draft, Allen, Lamar were all better. Josh Rosen was taken over Lamar. At the end of the day, it's not so much where you're picking, it's who's making the pick. And it you got to, no matter where you're picking, you got to find the right guy. And the whole the tanking thing, it's so mixed, because the Bills went out, made the playoffs, traded up. Like if you could trade up, you could find
Giants,
a way.
They could have got Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
He's not, exactly. The Giants got Jackson Dart. They didn't have to get top 3 pick for that.
Yeah,
I do have a question for you guys though. This just popped into my head. So because I read a report, I don't know if this is true or not, right? The New York beat reporters, they kind of spew whatever, but I heard instead of being sellers at the trade deadline, we might actually be buyers. And what do you guys think about maybe acquiring a bona fide like number 2 receiver, that we know is talented. He's produced in the NFL, and that way going into next season, we have Garrett and we have that number 2. Let's just say, and I know this is a long shot, but
you gotta give names out. It was a Brian Thomas Jr. Everybody's talking about.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Man.
Let's say you give up like a second,
bad year.
But the talent's there. I just think for whatever reason, maybe because Travis Hunter's in the picture now in the mix. Who knows? But having a 1-2 punch like that, Garrett and Brian Thomas Jr., something like that, and that way going into next season, you have, you get a number 3 guy like Bubs is saying, and you're good on the outside, and now you just focus on the trenches.
They've been aggressive now. They got Brownlee, they got Harrod, they got Phillips, they got Briggs. They've made trades already. They've made upgrades. I'm not sure if they go in the trade deadline like, oh, we're going to be buyers. We're going to go. I think there's an opportunity there. I still think they're going to be sellers to a point where they evaluate the roster. Listen, these guys just don't fit our system. They're not going to be here next year. Like they may be people we like, but listen, they just don't fit. Maybe it's work ethic. Maybe it's their whatever. It's just. What do you think, Bubs? I think they'll probably be. Oh, do you leave us?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to buy at the deadline. I think they're going to, if anything, they'll sell off some pieces. Maybe some of the dead weight. Like maybe they get rid of Lazard. Maybe they get rid of Michael Carter, and not so much the Brees level guys anymore.
Sorry about that.
But that has been something that Muji's been willing to do, is trade the late round picks for a Brownlee, a Briggs. Obviously they brought in Harrison Phillips as well, which I kind of like that strategy, because you're
Brownlee's been a beast.
Going to probably get a better player in the trade than you would with that 6th or 7th round pick. Most likely, you kind of play the odds.
You don't like Tyler Barron?
No, God, he's terrible.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
All right. Well, see you guys. I can't hear you, but I'll talk to you guys later.
Later, dude. All right. So, Bubs, apparently you have a new fan. Now, this man yesterday gave us a ridiculously generous super chat. So, Valen, I'm telling you now, please email talkjetsradio@gmail.com. We're getting shirts and sweatshirts made. I want to send you a bunch. Bubs, super impressed with your takes and growth over the last few years. Keep it up, my man. Valen,
Appreciate that.
You are a madman. So please email me. You have my email, dude. We're getting shirts made, hoodies made, as many as you want, dude. Give me your sizes for you and your family. I want to send you shirts and sweatshirts. Please. You are killing me, dude. You're just crazy, dude. I can't believe it's just wild.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. Thank you for the support. That means a lot. Valen's always been around for a while. I've seen him a lot of the big super chats for sure. So that's awesome.
It's just wild, man. It's just completely appreciative. Like yesterday, you had me so I want to give it back. Like I was so like, wow, man. It's just crazy. Appreciate, but definitely crazy. Jack, what's up, man?
Happy Victory Monday, gentlemen. Bubs Tyson, great job as always. Yeah, man, rest in peace to Nick Mangold. I hope we don't have to lose a Jets legend every time we want to get a win, because I think we only have enough to get to like 5-12. So
Sure, there's not many.
Awful news. Feel terrible for his family. But on to positives, man. Look, I called up a couple weeks ago and I trashed Aaron Glenn. Coached a good game. Obviously the first half was a little bit dicey and it looked a lot like the same old Jets that he likes to pretend don't exist.
Sure did.
But they picked it up in the second half. And I do think that this, whether we like it or not, this win was a turning point in the season, in that I don't think they're going to be huge sellers at the deadline. I do think, Bubs, you're probably right. They're going to trim and be strategic. So the Michael Carters that have kind of bloated contracts at this point might be on the way out. I think Brees. Yeah.
So you're saying, I'll give you a list. So Michael Carter, I think we all could assume he's going to be gone because
Brownlee's better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Allen Lazard, that good blocker, not much contributing to passing game though.
Yeah. I mean, there is one move that I think is a dark horse, and I'm wondering if it could happen. This is like 1% chance, but the Eagles held out A.J. Brown this past week with a quote-unquote hamstring. No. That's not what I'm getting at. Not what I'm getting at. The Eagles held out A.J. Brown with a hamstring. Sauce Gardner has this kind of like Percy Harvin-ish headache popping up. He was held out this past week with a concussion. What about a A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots to be reunited with Mike Vrabel, who loves him? This, A.J. Brown wants to murder Jalen Hurts, so they've got to get him out of the building at some point.
Yep.
Reunite him with the Patriots, Vrabel. The Jets send Sauce to the Eagles, whose secondary is beaten up and battered. The Eagles will have 2 first-round draft picks, probably late first-rounder, which would be their own, probably another late first-rounder at this point, which would be the Patriots, come to New York, and you ship Sauce out of here before all that guaranteed money comes due. And the only reason why I say this is this past week, I think, was a good test for the Jets secondary. In that you had T. Higgins, you have Jamar Chase. Did they survive? I mean, if you look at the PFF numbers, and I take it with a grain of salt, but Stevens is like the number 1 ranked corner right now. He's played some good football the last few weeks. And they've got a kind of a rotation of depth at this point at corner. Like, I've never been a Sauce fan outside of his rookie year, maybe second year. That's a big contract. He's making $30 million a year. He's got 3 career interceptions in like over 3,000 snaps of football, which is like
It's
almost
like Stevens
impossible.
is playing better than he was.
The Stevens turnaround is crazy.
He's playing
well. We
well.
had the pitchforks out for the first like 4 games, and now he's played really, really well. It's unbelievable the turnaround in his first year.
Yeah, I mean, some of Muji's acquisitions are starting to show signs of life here. So maybe that's not a lost cause, but
except for Sherwood. Sherwood's been the biggest surprise to me, man, where
he
was a team captain last year, flying all around. I know he's like amongst the lead leaders in tackles, but his angles are awful. His like what happened to Sherwood? And then he was benched yesterday for the first quarter. So something clearly happened off the field or something in somewhere.
And he's making $15 million a year at this point, which is a lot of money for a linebacker. And I mean, like you were making the point, it's like, is $12 million worth it for a Brees Hall? It's like, well, when Allen Lazard is making 10, like, Brees is worth 12, like, and that contract is
a dumb contract anyway. That was just. But no, so what do you do with Brees then? Because you talk about, I'm not sure the Jets trade Sauce. I'm not sure he's got a market for him based on the way he's played. But What do you do with Brees now, who's coming off great game?
I just don't think you can trade him. There's nothing behind him for the rest of the year. Like the Jets are still trying to muster out 4 or 5 wins, and they just don't have a warm body to carry the load for the remaining 10, 11 games. I think he's got to be here, and I'm not interested in a 3rd or 4th round pick for Brees Hall. Like, he's 24 years old. The market for running backs, we know what that looks like. I think James Cook. You look at his contract, and Brees Hall is not James Cook. Like, right. James Cook had 2,000-yard seasons. I don't think Brees has ever hit that. He had 16 touchdowns last year. That market was a 4-year, $48 million contract.
48 million, like 30 guaranteed.
48 million with 30 guaranteed. So, like, you look at that as a comp. Like, I don't think Brees gets those numbers. Like, does Brees get a 4-year, $44 million contract? Like,
but he could also say he's a product of his environment too, where he doesn't have that quarterback, doesn't have that coaching, has been dealing with all kinds of instability.
I mean, even if you paid him James Cook money, like, I'm not going to sit here and, I just, the minute you get rid of Brees Hall, you're going to be using a top 100 pick to replace him, and you're probably not getting someone who's Brees Hall in the top. So you're opening a hole just to refill it again.
That's the part I totally agree with. Is you're kind of just creating a weakness, especially if, you say you draft a quarterback, right? Or when they draft a quarterback, you want that quarterback to have the best talent around him. Brees is still one of the top offensive. I mean, he's the 2nd most talented player on this offense behind Garrett Wilson. And I would rather allocate those draft picks to finding your wide receiver 2, getting some defensive help, as opposed to that's the angle of getting rid of Brees and having to draft a running back, which you wouldn't have to do if you just keep Brees. And what are the odds that running back is better than Brees? I mean, Brees is on pace for over 1,200 yards this year. Despite everything that's gone on.
I agree. And I know you just flashed the Sauce is a stud. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I just watched last week JC Horn get 2 interceptions in one half of football, and I've seen 3 from Sauce in 55 career games. Like, he's a good corner at $15 million a year, at $30 million a year. Like that, you're talking about Chris Jones money. You're talking about JC. He's making more than JC Horn. These guys create game-changing plays throughout the season. Sauce doesn't do that. Like, he's a good corner.
All right, so I got a question for you then. Now, I agree with you. Like the money these guys are getting, there should be game-changing talent. Like, should be game-changing, like, disruptive forces. Sauce, I don't think it's going to go. I just think it's just the contract, whatever else.
Yeah, I don't think.
But based on this conversation, what's Quinnen Williams then? We love Quinnen Williams, homegrown guy. He had a monster year, got the big contract, says all the right things, good leader, respected everywhere. But this defensive line is being pushed around for years now. Yesterday, pushed around again. It's like, oh, we love Harrison Phillips. We love Jermaine Johnson. We love Will McDonald. Okay, well, they're all playing on the same friggin' line. This line's getting its ass kicked. Yeah. So and Quinnen Williams, well, he's getting double teamed. Okay, fair enough. But is that the case? Like, is he worthy of his contract? And is he considered, you know what? Maybe he's the guy you trade.
I actually don't think his contract, all things considered, is like horrific at this point, because he's a couple years into it now, and they tend to, look okay in years 3 and 4. I'm not rushing to get rid of Quinnen Williams, but if someone calls me with a 1st and a 3rd, like the Cowboys or Tampa, like, I'm not hanging up the phone. I mean, the Jets at this point, I think you're seeing the makings of schematically what looks like a pretty good offense. Like, the play calling we can get into, and but schematically, like, these guys are getting open, and Justin Fields woke up and decided to hit receivers this week, which is awesome to see. I'm just, it's kind of funny to think about, like, Aaron Glenn was 100% starting Tyrod this week, and Justin Fields kind of bails him out of it. I'm just wondering, like, what does the offense look like if Tyrod doesn't actually hurt his knee?
Yep.
But no, I think at this point they have to find a way to get an extra pick. They're down a 3rd round pick right now from the Hassan Reddick trade. They've got to be able to get a top probably 50, top 75 pick to find a wide receiver, because you're using a quarterback at some point. Whether they trade down to pick up some additional picks, or they sell some assets off to get back into the top 100. And that's where you're going to find a wide receiver. Like, you're not getting a day 3 guy or a day 2 guy to come in and start week 1. So I don't know. I mean, the offensive line looks like it's in pretty good shape. You're probably going to need to get a guard to replace John Simpson and just some additional depth there. But
what about Quincy Williams?
Look, I love Quincy. He's a free agent. I don't think the math works on bringing him back. He's going to want to get paid whatever Sherwood is making. He's probably going to want more than that. He's probably a goner. But again, you're going to get like a 6th round pick for him. I'm much more, sell him off fine, like sell Michael Carter off fine. I just don't think the guys like Brees, who should probably be here long term, I don't see, and the offense is where you've had so many struggles. I just don't think it makes sense to sell that off unless it's like an offer you're blown away with, which I don't think they're going to get.
Fair enough. Bubs, any questions? I've been firing my questions at him.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't think there's going to be any major moves like blockbuster in a way. And when you look at the draft, just going back to kind of the Brees point and the way they got to build out this roster, that's the tough part is right now, yeah, they don't, as you mentioned, they don't have a 3rd round pick. They got a 1, a 2, a 4, a 6, and then 2 7s. Assuming your 1's the quarterback, your 2 is probably the receiver. Are you gonna wait till round 4 then to have that be your running back? And if that is your running back, then
or do you have
Brees?
faith in Braylon Allen? As Braylon Allen,
Yeah,
Cal back spelled by Isaiah Davis.
Yeah, and that's where I do feel there is part of this regime really likes Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. And I mean, Glenn talked about that all the way back at the league meetings back in February about how it's going to be, a running back by committee. We have 3 good running backs, and they stick Braylon Allen back to return kicks, which is stupid. But they don't have a ton of like assets from the draft standpoint. And there's other holes that they have to fill out. Do you want to create other holes now, with Brees? And I know you would probably recoup. You're probably not getting a 3rd. You're probably getting a 4th for Brees.
Yeah.
I think the whole Quinnen thing to me is probably more of an off-season thing. If he's super unhappy at the end of this year, I think that's more of an off-season thing. If he then
I know a way to get a 1st round pick, trade Sauce. We have depth at corner. He doesn't create plays. He's making $30 million a year. This is the worst contract they have given to a professional athlete since Alan Lazard. I'll talk to you guys later. Let's go to callers. Be good.
Take care, man.
Have a good one.
That Tremaine Johnson, that contract was no prize. I'll tell you that much. And right now, the Jamin Sherwood contract looks terrible too.
No, yeah, the Sherwood contract's right up there with Tremaine Johnson, Muhammad Wilkerson. That one's looking really, really bad, especially Muhammad Wilkerson because it was the homegrown.
The run defense yesterday was horrific, dude. They were literally running the ball right up the middle with no fear. The linebackers getting blown up the ball, defensive line getting blown up the ball. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
And then no pass rush. Like Will McDonald had the big sack yesterday.
Yeah.
Jermaine Johnson had the pressure late. But other than that, Flacco had a clean pocket. It was just, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey guys, what's going on? Oh, Flacco had like a 12-yard run for a 1st down yesterday.
On 3rd and 12.
Yeah. Escape Michael. The only player in the NFL he could escape was Michael Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens just gives that weak ass dive, man.
It was terrible.
Optically, it looked terrible. What did look good was that last drive that we had. Those passes that Justin Fields made on 3rd down.
Yep.
The one that he made on 4th down. The one that he made to Davis, I really liked. Yep. Where Davis get the little shimmy and he cut in.
Yep.
And it was right there. Throws. Those were big time throws, and he just looked like a different player.
A lot more confident. But it seems like when he gets a chance to run, mobile in the pocket, he gets like more energy. I mean, he gets more confidence when he can go downfield and just throw it. Like when he drops back and starts thinking, you can literally see him thinking, it all goes to shit. But when he just drops back and lets it fly, it's like, all right, now he's in rhythm, and then the offense flows a lot better.
Yeah, when he wants to play, like, you know what I mean? It's almost like he's playing street ball, really.
Yep,
when he thinks about it, it's like he's in a classroom or something. He's like up in the front of the classroom and all the kids are laughing at him. You know what I mean? That's basically.
But when he runs, though, like that 2-point conversion was ridiculous. It was impressive, man.
Oh yeah, that pass that he had, the pass that he hit Davis on, where he was like 6 inches, his leg was off the ground. I mean, that was some big time football. And the trade things like Brees, I don't think we could trade him just for the fact that if we want to win now, like he just won the game for us. You know what I mean? That line and him. You know what
It's
I'm
a tough
saying?
message to the locker room, man. Like this locker room just got done winning. You're like, all right, thanks for all you've done. You're out of here. That's a tough sell, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big blow emotionally. I mean, I don't know what type of leader he is in the locker room or whatever, but if one guy can really getting rid of him disravel a team.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen with Jericho Cotchery a few years ago.
When they got they got Derek Mason.
Oh, remember that? That was it. Then we went
Disaster.
downhill. We have this guy Lazard, and I don't know if he can play hard, but he does make some type of plays. He just looks lazy out there for some reason. And maybe
He's not very good.
Yeah, I don't think he's very good, and he's getting paid a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it just I was happy to see that we won.
It's nice, man.
And this thing about tanking, it's never been in the cards for me. I don't know if it's been in the cards for you guys.
Not in week 7.
No.
No,
Yeah. One thing
it
it'd be one thing if they were 0-14.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Like
And then won.
when we beat the Browns and the Rams a couple years ago.
When you get like week 13, week 14, you could see that number 1 pick starting to stare in front of you. Then all right, I can't do it at week 7, dude. That's just crazy to me. Especially with a young team trying to build a culture. Tanking games now makes no sense.
No, and it's it was so good to get the win, especially with Nick passing. I mean, I could feel the guys had some kind of type of energy from that. They had to feel something in that. I know Nick Folk said something about it.
Yeah. Teammates.
But I mean, the type of win that this was brings a team together.
Yep.
This is what solidifies teams when they win like this. And just if you lose like that, it rips you apart, like you seen week 1.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It could have a good effect on this team.
But also, what's interesting is how many players ran over to Aaron Glenn and gave him a huge hug. Like, if the players didn't like him or getting tired of his nonsense, they'd be like, we won. Like, dude, they were all running over to him. Like, we got it, coach. We did it. And I was like, all right, those are all good signs, man. That one photo in the locker room is tremendous where they're all like picking Glenn up.
Lifting him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the things you want to see from a young team, man.
And as a man, a man performing in a sport or a combat sport or something that's tough like this, if you lose your confidence, it's very hard to play.
100%.
As a former football player, I mean, I was only semi-pro, whatever, and a soldier. If you don't have confidence out there and you're second guessing yourself, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get your teammates hurt. And, maybe that's what was going on with Justin.
Yep.
And I have a big feeling about that. And, now that these guys have a little bit of belief in themselves, hey, they're buying in maybe. Hey, we can win with this guy. We can win with this coach. You know what I mean? And Wilson was out. He'll be back next week. Gardner's going to be back. I think a lot of guys are pretty tough on Sauce. I mean, he is what he is. I don't think he's worth all that money, but let's see.
But this is for Fields. You're right, dude. Like you could see his confidence was dwindling. He was battered. He was bruised. And he had nothing around him helping him. It was just a complete mess. And then yesterday, they all started rallying with him. Like, all right, you know what? Like, we got your back, dude. Like, you're in here with, you're one of us. They were fighting. They were fighting for footballs. They were fighting for yards. They're getting tackled. They're getting blocks. It was like, and when the game was over, like, all right, like we all as a team did it. They all contributed to it. And confidence is huge. Like a lot of times for a young team, getting that first win is the most important one. You proved you can do it. But if you keep losing, like my biggest fear yesterday was losing that game. Like, this would be the heartbreak of all heartbreaks, especially with the Nick Mangold news. And they rallied around it, and the emotions they shared after it. And credit to Justin Fields too for actually being honest about it. Like, listen, man, I was down. Like, I was just sad. I was, it was impressive yesterday.
Yeah, it was. It's one of the biggest wins probably in the last 10 years of this franchise.
It's a big one, man. They need this one bad.
Think about it, because we're all feeling good about it today. We're not. Well, the rest of the Mondays we were ready to kill everybody.
But it's like we're looking in a year that it's an evaluation year. We're looking for a glimmer of hope. We're so worried about giving this staff a top 3 pick and be like, all right, are they going to blow this? And that's why we're like, hey man, if this continues, you can't give them this opportunity to blow $80 million in cap space on a top 3 pick. But now you're like, all right, this team's buying in. We saw a good win, but it can't, like Bub said before, it can't be an anomaly, man. They can't go lay it done against the Browns. They go lay it done against the Browns. Like, you know what?
No,
back to square one.
It was a fluke again.
Yep.
let's see what we have. When was the last time we won after a bye? It's been.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's like a big. That was the biggest issue with Salah. Anytime he had extra time to prepare, coming off the Thursday night games, they stunk, and then coming off of a bye, they stunk. That's a big test for Glenn because Cleveland's also coming off a bye as well.
Yeah, so this is the major test. Are we going to be that same old team again? Or are we going to come out firing?
Yep.
I mean, our defense wasn't that great this week, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're going up against the Browns, and who knows who we're going to face? Is it going to be Shador Sanders?
It could be Dylan Gabriel, Shador. It could be either one. Just
I mean,
stay. All I want is just as the Jets, just stay aggressive, man. Be aggressive on offense. Be aggressive on defense. Leave it all out there, and then you don't mind. I just be exciting. Just have emotion, have pride, and get after it. Don't be conservative, and don't be scared to lose.
They were fun to watch.
Yeah, they were.
So the last couple of games, they were not fun to watch. It made me hate football. Like I didn't want to watch.
Dude, I'm so weak. But Mahomes got my wrath a couple times. I was out of my mind.
Yeah, I was really upset for 2 weeks, and I'm stuck here in Minneapolis. You know, Minnesota. It really sucks here.
So how'd you become a Jet fan out there?
Oh, Tyson, I've been calling in for a while. I used to call in as Coach Hank years and years ago.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's me from years and years ago. So it's like 15 years I've been calling in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't want to ask that. That's what I thought.
Yeah, but I moved to Memphis in 2019, and now I'm a corporate auditor, so I travel.
Oh, nice.
Corporate income tax, franchise tax. So,
have you been to that stadium out there in Minnesota?
No, I'm right near it though. I got in here last Sunday, so I don't have a rental car or anything. The company screwed me this week, so I'm stuck in a hotel room playing video games and working out in a whole, the punk ass little hotel gym they have.
Well, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Thank you for your service too, man.
Hey, yeah, no problem. Hey, guys, have a great night.
You too. Take care.
All right,
Have a good one.
I thought it was him, man. I didn't want to ask. I don't be like, oh, he's like, who the fuck is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was. All right, we got a lot of positivity tonight, Bubs, for the first time in 2 months.
Yeah, this is good. Victory Monday.
See, now this
Finally.
next caller can't be grumpy. There's no way you can be grumpy.
Except for the fact I'm not feeling that great. But other than that, it was good to see a win. I mean, I'm trying not to get too enthusiastic because it's still a lot of season to go. Mm-hmm. And, we know with this team, can they maintain the momentum? I mean, the defense, the thing that bothers me is the offense showed up and the defense, well, it shit the bed. I mean, basically the defense gave up 38 points to Cincinnati, who does not. Their offense, they've got great receivers and stuff. The running game was more abundant, and all of a sudden they put up over 200, I think, didn't they, on the Jets? Yeah. It was like 170. It was like 175 for half, I think.
Rushing?
The rushing yards, they had a huge thing, I think.
Rushing, yeah, they had like 165.
Yeah, but they held Chase to under 100 yards, and T. Higgins only had one catch.
Mm-hmm. It was the one.
Yeah, that was interesting. They shut him down, but the running was awful. I mean, they didn't get that much pressure on him. And again, it's the defense. What's going on there? Is it
but to close the game out, they had back-to-back good series. And
that was the highlight. That was the highlight. The fact that they were able to shut him, because that's usually, given that their last series with a minute and whatever the heck they had left, they whatchamacallit, they were driving for a field goal. And you figure, the Jets are going to let it up. They'll get there, they'll kick a field goal, and we'll lose by 2 points, but they didn't. And that's good. And win does a lot. You always say winning sanitizes everything. Well,
it's a great deodorant, man.
It's a great deodorant, and it gets the players fired up and stuff. And let's hope that comes in there. I think the big thing for this game that I saw, it was on the offense. I think Glenn must have given Engstrom a kick in the ass because he stopped this. I got Jared Goff out here. Let's run a Jared Goff offense because it didn't work. And the thing was, they had the advantage because Cincinnati's defense is so bad. I mean, they are the last ranked defense in the NFL. He was getting time back there.
Well, it was also run, third and long pass. It was like, it was very predictable. And you're like, we've seen this before. It was just
run, pass, kick, run, kick.
Yeah, it was disgusting, man.
And then, but now, they were doing things differently, throwing to different receivers. The thing that highlighted me was, Johnson caught passes. I mean, they were throwing to everybody. Ruckert caught a pass, which was like, wow, he still exists.
Dude, Isaiah Williams had a big day. It was shocking.
Isaiah Williams on the Brandon Stevens path.
Yeah.
Like bad start. Now he's actually playing well.
And of course, the highlight was, Breeze throwing the pass. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
You know,
I immediately thought back to the Curtis Martin Corbett pass. I was like, that's
yeah, that
immediately
was
what
a
I thought back
classic.
to.
I mean, I thought back to that and I sat there and said, you know what? They've adjusted to something.
Yep.
Is Fields the greatest quarterback in history? I don't want to knock the guy. He had a good game.
Mhm.
And I really did. I liked when he was getting interviewed. He said, I was really down and stuff. And I can't imagine he was. I mean, he had everybody jumping on him. And, it's not easy. It's not an easy place to be. He hadn't played well.
Your owner dumped on you.
Yeah. Well, Woody
Idiot.
Johnson,
Just
he
an
really has the
idiot.
class of a dirty pay toilet. I mean, he just absolutely has no filters, no sense of anything.
No, but do you think, and I'll ask you first, Bubs, is based on yesterday's game, it's safe to assume Fields is going to start against the Browns, right?
Yeah, I
I
think
think it's
Fields
a
will
foregone
start.
conclusion. Yeah,
I mean,
right?
Glenn might just keep it under wraps now because it worked. So competitive advantage, but it's going to be Fields.
Yeah, I think he's going to start Fields. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Now it's going to be interesting because Cleveland's got a good defense.
Yeah.
As far as
Myles
I know, and their
Garrett.
defensive front is pretty tough.
But the thing is, just be aggressive though, right? But just don't go back to that same conservative shit again.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing. If they get roll Fields out, get them moving.
Yep.
If your offensive line, hopefully they can give them time, but they may not be able to. This game, I was timing it. A lot of times, Fields had like 4 or 5 seconds back there, which in the NFL is an eternity.
But they had designed runs for him too, though. Like Bubs, like they did literally things that we begged for 3 weeks.
There was
Well, like
even
I
a few
said,
screen passes.
Glenn kicked their butt, and he kicked Engstrand's butt, and the guy started doing something a little more aggressively. I mean, people were complaining about Glenn going for it in fourth down early in the game.
Shocked.
That's a Dan Campbell special. Was it smart? Probably not.
It was bold
Even
as hell,
analytically,
man.
You're on your own 30-yard line,
But going for it when it was they were down, they could have when they went for 2 to go ahead to take them to go only down by 6 instead of 7. I was losing my mind because I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, I have no faith in our offense. Don't give it away. Then they get it. I'm like, that's Dan Campbell shit right there. That's what Dan Campbell does week in and week out for the last 3 years.
Well, he's finally figured it out. You got to be. And I think that's important too. I mean, the real question here is they've got to put a complete game together. They've got to have, they won, it's great. They've got to have it where the defense and the offense shows up. The offense should not have to put up 39 points to win a game. And the defense is good enough. They should be able to stop them. I mean, Cleveland.
Defense is
their
all year. I mean, not fair, but here's the question.
No, they had some good. I mean,
the last 2 weeks, it was because it was friggin' Bryce Young. Like the Panther offense was terrible, and Bo Nix, the Broncos were going ahead and they started pulling it back a little bit. They got ultra conservative and they knew the Jets couldn't score.
Yeah, and that was just a typical. That was like they had the road trip in Philly. They were on the road for 2 weeks in London. They wanted to get out of there. That was like the typical. Just they kind of took the Jets lightly type of.
And they knew they could win. They weren't scared of the Jets offense.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't do it. They couldn't get a first down.
I mean, the defense, I can't tell if it's scheme. It's just the tackling. What really bothers me is this is a fundamental issue Glenn knew about, and they still haven't fixed it. And I don't, it may just be the players. And if that's the case, then we're going to do a real clean out because it's like so many players. It's not just
one. It's right up the middle. I mean, they were literally running right up the middle for chunks of time.
Well, they were saying, yards. I mean, somebody, I forget who, someone was commenting on Cincinnati's game plan. They said, you talk about a vanilla game plan. It was like, this wasn't anything exotic. They weren't doing anything. They weren't doing anything, deceptions, redirects, misdirects. I mean, even when Flacco was throwing, it wasn't anything earth-shattering.
No.
And it was taken. So that is a major concern because, again, you can't expect the offense to put up 39 points, not against good defenses. They're not going to do it. We don't have that kind of offense. But they fought. The thing was they kept in it. I sat back thinking, good God, they're going to lose. They're down, 16 points. And then the other thing that got me was in the first half, again, in the beginning of the game. They had 3 shots into the red zone and they got field goals.
Yeah, but they adjusted throughout. Like the plays that we wanted to make in the first half, they made in the second half. So it's now how do you handle Breece Hall? Because it's so funny how this game played out. Because before this game, everybody's like, every show we did, trade Breece, we don't care. Trade Breece, we don't care.
He's a free agent after this year, right?
Correct. But now it's like over 100-yard rushing, 2 touchdowns and a passing touchdown. Got to keep Breece. He's a building block after one game.
Dual threat.
I think honestly, it depends on what they see, what their roadmap is for the future. And we don't know that. I don't know what Muji and Glenn, I'm sure they're already talking about it because they know this year was a starting point. Is next year the year of competition? Is the second year?
It's
It's
gotta be
probably
next year.
2 years. It's
It has to
probably
be next
2
year.
years. So the point is, you sign, the thing is, if you're going to re-sign Brees, you need a good running back for when you get into the position where you're really competitive, where you're going for playoffs and
Well,
beyond.
especially
Right?
no, not even that. Especially when Aaron Glenn preaches ground and pound, he wants to run the football. He's made no secret about that.
Well, I think it also depends on the kind. He's smart enough to know it depends on the kind of quarterback. I mean, Detroit is not. Goff isn't putting up 500 yards a game. They run a lot, but they're also not really ground and pound either.
Goff
I
does
think
his- he
if
does
they
his
get
damage,
if they
though.
get a good quarterback in there, the question is going to be though, what's their time frame? And if they feel like they're going to be competing, well, next year is a stretch probably that you're going to be in
A
the
time frame for
playoffs.
what? To be competitive?
Well, I'm talking about getting a level where at least you have the potential of getting into the playoffs.
That's got to be next year.
9 wins, let's say.
And it's also got to be a lot on just making sure that you have the pieces around the quarterback. Like Brees would be one of those weapons, like building around the quarterback properly. You feel like you have a lot of the offensive line in place. You feel good about the 2 bookend tackles. You'll need some adjusting to the interior because Simpson will be up, and then
Mason,
what are you gonna?
he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, AVT will be gone, and how are you gonna do the whole center thing? Is Tippmann gonna stay at guard? I'd probably assume, but you're gonna need a little bit of work in the interior. But the tackles are good.
Mason Taylor.
Mason Taylor. You have Garrett. You get a number 2 receiver, let's say in the draft, and then maybe sign a rental number 3. You have Arian Smith. Maybe you bring a Tyler Johnson back, let's say, as like your number 4.
Yep.
And then you have Brees and you draft a quarterback as opposed to then having to use assets to get another running back and then moving on from Brees. So that's
the thing about Brees is he gives him a safety valve. The guy is good. You can throw to him too, which is another thing. He's got hands, and that I was really mad at Engstrom. They weren't using him enough, and they're still not. They should be throwing to him more.
Well, no, was it last week? They had no catches, right? Was it last week?
He's had very few catches because they're not using. He
ridiculous.
should be in there. That should be in the game plan, especially if Fields is scrambling, running out this year.
Or I think it was the Denver game, no catches.
He can pick up. He can go out, and they can do a hot read on him. I mean, you don't. So I think trying to trade him, it doesn't make any sense. Here's why: I don't think anybody, even with the resurgence or the supposed resurgence of running backs, right after Barkley last year and stuff. But what it's also showing, they're also looking this year and saying Barkley hasn't been quite as effective this year. He's not having quite the impact. So they're going to sit back and say, is a running back worth giving a really high level draft pick? Maybe they'll give a third or fourth.
Bijan Robinson's doing some work though.
I'm sorry.
Bijan Robinson's been a beast though.
There's some great running backs. Don't get me wrong. Of course, Derrick Henry's still going, which is amazing.
But I mean, it's like, but I think a trade for Brees. I mean, Bubs, don't you think that's going to be a win now team that's in a playoff hunt that's desperate for running back help, and that's going to be who's going to want him, right?
Yeah, it would be like a Kansas City.
Is it enough? Is it enough that they're willing to give a high enough draft pick that the Jets would really get something out of it? My guess would be a 3rd or 4th rounder. Now, a 3rd rounder is not bad, but honestly, if you're going to need a running back, and the standard line is, well, the draft is always full of running backs.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah, but you know what? How many of them really turn out to be that good? How many of them turn out to be?
Yeah, but this is tough because we wouldn't be having this conversation if Braylon Allen was healthy and playing well. That's the only thing, because Glenn loved him. He's a bowling ball kind of guy. He's your power. Isaiah Davis is your speed. Then you draft, say, a 4th round running back or 5th round running back, whatever, something like that. Add him to the mix, and you probably wouldn't feel as bad. But now Braylon Allen's hurt, not here. We don't know what you're just, to me, he's like the X factor in all this.
I think the other thing is, like I said, I think my take on it is that what you're going to get back in terms of a running back. Now, the question comes in too, of course, is going to be cap space. I'm not a GM.
They'll have plenty of cap space.
I don't keep up with the cap. But let's say a running back, it'll probably be, I'm going to make 12, 13 million a year. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm just going to make up some number. I don't know, whatever the hell, 3-4 years.
Just say 48 million, 30 million guaranteed. Isn't that what Cook got? Something like that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to give him that kind of money, but the point is, I think he's good enough that he could get close to that.
And he's going to want it, man, because his sales pitch is going to be like, I've been grossly underutilized here. I've been on lousy teams with lousy quarterbacks and lousy play calling. Put me in the right system. I can get these numbers. I want that pay.
Well, the real question
especially when
is,
running backs lifespan is very short.
but that raises another question. And where is Brees Hall? Because where is he thinking? Because you know
Money.
what? He might just say, you know what? I don't know if these guys are going to be able to do it. Are we going to get a good quarterback in here? Are we going to have the thing going down the line? Does he believe in that?
But that's where the same. I'm sure Garrett Wilson had the same questions, and they paid him. You're like, that's like kind of Bubs, like you're kind of your Jets tax. Like, listen, we think we know what you are. In order for you to stay here and believe in us, we'll pay you a little bit more to show you how much we appreciate you.
Yeah, but are they willing to take the other thing? There's two sides of a player. I mean, obviously Wilson bought into it, and that's great. But then you get the other half of it, where they sit back and say, you come in with a lot of money, you sit there and say, you know what, I can do pretty well in the free agent market. Maybe I'll hook on with a winning team.
Well, that's the whole catch to this.
And if he wants to win, we don't know his mindset.
Well, that's the only thing. The only leverage the Jets have is to tag him. Then that's like, all right, we're not going to trade you. We're going to keep you for the rest of the season. And then he says, you know what, I want to test the free agent market. Well, we don't want you to do that. Then we tag you, which I think he holds out because I don't think he wants that. But
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. But I mean, I might take on, I'd hold him and I would pay him only because, and there's a couple of reasons. I think it is for the locker room. It's saying, hey, we are trying to build for the future. They're saying it's not a tear down. We're not trying to, because if it's a tear down, players know what that means.
That's a big one.
It's a biggie, and it's important. And also, you know what? It is a thing to the fans too. I mean, I know that can't be a first consideration, and I agree with that.
I think your first one's 10 times more important than the fans. You can't give a shit about the fans because the fans, our opinion should not matter in making. But the thing is, you just had a big win. You're trying to change the culture. You're trying to have everybody buy in. Brees had a huge game. To then look these guys in the face, like, listen, we know you love him, but we got a third-round pick. He's got to go. I mean, Buzz, what do you think? That could have an offsetting impact into the locker room.
Yeah, it's a very tough balance that Glenn's kind of got to take. And I just go back to the whole thing is I get every running back class or you're always going to be able to find them in the middle rounds. I mean, Brees wasn't a first-round pick. He was early day 2, but I just don't know if you're going to find that running back in the 3rd or 4th round that's as good as Brees. That's my biggest thing.
I don't think so. And you know what? He's looking much better. And like I said, it's one of these deals with you've got him, it's also somebody you know what he can do. And maybe even do better. He might even do better.
Could get better with a better offense.
No, but you know what? 2,000-yard runners, could he be? Possibly. He could be. And the right team with the right offense, he could be a 2,000 rusher.
Let's get to 1,000 first. Shit, 2,000.
He's supposed to be on track for over 1,000 this year. So, but the point I guess I'm saying is, based on where he is right now, based on his value to the team, based on everything else, I don't think you lose anything by keeping him. I don't think you're going to sit back and say he's too expensive and I can do better. I don't think so. And even if you say, well, we'll get a slightly worse running back.
Well, I think the thing is, the thing that you try to avoid is not trading him and then losing him without any compensation whatsoever.
With no value. That's the tough part.
That's what Joe Douglas would always do. He's always reactive instead of proactive, where it's like, all right, if you're not going to trade him, you better be ready to tag him because.
Well, they should be. I mean, honestly, they should be talking to him, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
I really don't know, because if you leave it till the end of the season, then he's gonna whatchamacallit. He may book on you.
Oh yeah, testing free agency, he's gone. There's no way. Thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Franchise tagging is a no-win situation because you're going to be. Sometimes you'll tell them, hey, we're franchise tagging you, and then we'll extend because right now we got cap issues. Players will understand that. It's a way around the.
Brees Hall had that 994-yard season, right?
Yeah, the
Jets
23.
Where their math coach couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, they kept against New England in the last game. Yeah.
Thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Because it was that last game of the season. They thought that he had 1,000 yards. They pulled him out of the game.
Yeah,
he was actually short.
He was 6 yards short. He had that crazy. That was the Sano game with Trevor Siemian, and then Belichick. They beat him for the final game.
Oh,
that was that one. The Achilles year. But yeah, it's like if you get a better quarterback and like Engstrand, who was with Gibbs and Montgomery, and the way they utilize them, like you just hope that offensively they'd be a lot better and utilize Brees. But Armin brings up a good point too, and that's kind of the flip side to it is, yeah, good scouts find, talented backs similar to him. And that's the challenge for this.
And you bank on Brown out. You bank on healthy Brown out next year.
Yeah. And that's also just a challenge in general is they have to find more day 3 talent, both sides of the football.
But
Because that was
to me,
something Douglas could never
to
do.
me, the
but-
conversation with Brees is just his inconsistency. For every
Yeah.
great game we saw like yesterday, there's ones
Mhm.
where you're like, man, he was getting tackled by a shoelace. Like he was getting like he was dropping passes. He looked like he was lifeless. He looked a little slow. Like how many times we say we think he lost a step, and then it's like those inconsistencies drive you crazy. But it could be a product of all the things around him as well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's what I think it is. It's more of a product of the issues around him. But if you want to go with the flip side, Garrett's had the same issues and he's been consistent. So, you know, it's tough. The performance yesterday definitely kind of throws a twist into it because I think the expectation at least was they were going to trade him. And at 0-8, you understood it. But after a game like that, you want to see this continue. You move, just future with the rookie quarterback, having him around. Then you don't want to have this situation where you don't get anything back. So they could either look like geniuses or really stupid because if you move on from him and that 3rd round pick's a bust and he turns out to go, let's say, win a Super Bowl and be a big piece for like the Chiefs or something moving forward, and the Jets like Braylon and Isaiah Davis aren't it, or you pay him and he's still inconsistent. It's a tough line to walk.
Yeah, or you can look even stupider if you don't trade him and you get nothing for him.
Yeah, then you get nothing for him.
So there's a lot of ways. So next Monday is going to be interesting because next Monday will be the argument before the day because I'm sure next Monday all the rumors are going to heat up. You're going to hear all these different stories like they want this, they want that, which is going to be crazy.
Yeah, really interesting placement of the bye week, right? Like bye week and then the deadline. So, next time they play, we'll see what happens. Is Lazard still here? Do they move on from somebody like a Quincy or do they do more just kind of roster shaving with like Carter and getting those guys out and trimming down that way? It'll be very interesting.
Next Monday, we're doing all our predictions.
Yes.
So then, we're going to have to. We're going to get like 8 players, look them all down and see what happens.
Yeah.
They scored a touchdown. Friggin' Mariota? Oh, he's out of bounds. Well, we'll wrap this up. First of all, thank you guys all so much for joining us every week, watching the videos, commenting on it. We definitely appreciate it. Also, launch shirts and hoodies. I put a post up today. I'll make a video about it tomorrow because I've just been too busy. But the proceeds will go to the American Kidney Fund and on behalf of Nick Mangold. So that'll all be out there. Just Let's Talk Jets, white T-shirts and a hoodie similar to this. And that's it. Bubs, give out your information too, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on every week. It's been a lot of fun. Nice to talk about a win this time. Twitter @Bubs52. YouTube is Bubs on Sports, and then I also write articles for the Jet Press. The YouTube, game previews, recaps, weekly episodes, just thoughts. Obviously, we'll have some content out with the deadline approaching here in about 7 days. So, check those out. Weekly, articles a couple times a week. Had an article go up earlier today on the win and Mangold and stuff like that. So definitely check that out.
And then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I'm with Ian, which will be interesting because Ian's happy now. So now things get really interesting. When he's happy, we definitely find a way to fight. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
Jet!